This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.
And so it's called negative identification. And David Potter has written about this. And negative identification is what the left is about. It's when you have not identified with your environment, or you haven't been able to identify with God's order. So not necessarily David Potter on this issue, but what I've found is, and I'm not saying it's greatly original, I'm just synthesizing this. When a leftist cannot accept God's order, he cannot accept God's hierarchy, God's creation, he engages in negative identification. So he or she do not positively identify with their own environment, so they begin to fantasize and worship foreign adversary environments. Okay, so listen carefully, because this explains the left's romance with the Soviet Union. It explains the left's romance with Islam today. They're shedding themselves of their own unwanted selves because they hate the order, they hate the human condition. And so they feel a sense of power and meaning by losing themselves and blurring themselves into a totalitarian whole. And Daniel Greenfield is much better on this in some ways than I am, because he's explained how they find immortality, their own form of immortality through this. I want to say that what a lot of people overlook in terms of this is the sadism involved in the left. And a lot of people always think, oh, they're just very naive, you know, they just want a better world, they don't know. Yes, it's true. There are brain-dead liberals. There's different echelons of this. Of course there's brain-dead liberals. We all got that. But do not mistake it again. There's a tremendous malice in the heart of the left. And when you look at the Obamas, when you look at the Valerie Jarretts and the Hillary Clintons, do not mistake this. If they already know what happened in the Soviet Union, if you already know what happened in Maoist China, if you already know what happened in Castro's Cuba, if you already know what happened in Vietnam and you know what happened in Korea, why would you want to do this again? And so you have to understand that in that negative identification, the believer also derives a pleasure and satisfaction by vicariously living through the power exerted by the totalitarian force. So they just the people that I used to watch, let's say, that love WWF wrestling in the crowd, and they're like, yeah, right? There's a point there where they're living vicariously through, Steve Austin and, The Rock or Hulk Hogan or whatever it is. They're living vicariously through that. Now, I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm just giving an example. So when the totalitarian Castro is torturing and imprisoning people, don't get it twisted. The leftist deep down likes that. They want to punish those people, and they support it, and it is no coincidence that they're enabling it. So I want to say that today when the leftist feminists say to me, because we're trying to save young girls from female genital mutilation and honor killings, I care about Aksa Parvez, the 16-year-old girl that was suffocated by her father in Toronto in 2008. I live there. I care about Aksa. But I'm very interested in these radical feminists that don't care about Aksa Parvez at all. But they call me names. But I know that deep down, they support the persecution of those girls. And it's called negative identification. So I just want to stress today, do not overlook the malice and the hatred that's in the heart of the left. There's a reason why Bernie Sanders was cringing last night when Trump was talking. This is a guy that partied with the Soviet Union Gulag masters. It's come out on tape now. Imagine if somebody was caught partying with neo-Nazis. So there's a hatred there.